What's up, you guys? It's Frank the Tank, and welcome to week number 13 of this Summer League series. I finally got confirmation because I wasn't sure. Remember, I don't really do my research when it comes to League, but I finally got confirmation that week 13 is technically like the final week in which we compete because week 14 is called Sweepers, and that's nothing. It's just a fun little bonus round where you can, like, I guess, win extra money or something. There's no point system. That technically week 13, aka the position round, is technically the final week. And also, if any of you noticed, I uploaded a little extra video on Monday where I had a little practice slash bowling ball testing session. I tested out the three somewhat recent releases. I say somewhat because the Hyped Solid, the RSTX2, and I can't even remember what else. But yeah, I know those two bowling balls recently came out, and I believe the Supernova just got announced too. That's why. And then the Infinite Physics Reality Check and Idle Cosmos, that's what I tested out, and they've been out for probably almost a month now. I'm not even sure. How long ago was Bowl Expo? I don't know. But anyway, I tested those out along with a couple other ones that I brought with me that I hadn't thrown for a long time. The Crux Prime, the Pro Motion. I recently punched up the Wolverine. Try that one out, but I didn't really get enough footage of it because by the time I started throwing that ball, the lanes were already kind of broken down, so I didn't necessarily understand what to do with that ball when I threw it. So I'm probably going to take that ball with me next week to another practice session just to see what it does and if it'll match up well with me. But I mentioned in that practice slash testing session that the Infinite Physics instantly became a good ball for me. I only needed I only needed one game for everything to just click in my mind, like with my eyes, watching what that ball did from beginning to end. And I said that that ball was so good that I was going to take it with me to League and that I was going to score some high games with that thing. And that's exactly what I said I was going to do. So I'm taking the Infinite Physics along with two other bowling balls just in case things don't go to plan. And this Night of League with the Infinite Physics will be my third, fourth, and fifth games with that ball because in that practice session, I didn't really throw it a lot, and I didn't need to because I instantly understood how that ball, when that ball read the lane, how it shaped, and all that stuff. So I only played two games with it in that practice session, one on camera and one off camera. That's really all there is to say on that. And I guess now we can go ahead and look at the standings and see where we are because I've been anxiously awaiting for that. And I don't know if I just mentioned this or anything, but I've been anxiously awaiting those results, and they never sent them to me because I usually get them via email, but they didn't send them to me. So I had to wait until I actually got to the lanes, and because they leave the papers of this, like the standings on every pair on the table. So I usually get myself one of those just in case, and I'm glad that I got one because, like I said, they never sent me the results. So I had to take a photo of the paper, and that's exactly what you're going to see right now. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at it. Okay, you guys, so here are the standings after week 12. So I honestly thought that we lost the lead after what happened in week 12, but we didn't. I don't know how, but because you see, if I remember clearly, last week's standings, we were this team right here, who are now in third place, 3 men and a ghost. They were 1 point behind us, and then this team right here, Hit the Pocket. They were like 2 or 3 points from the lead. So I honestly thought that we lost the lead because of how we played, but we didn't, and here's what went down. So check this out. On lanes 1 and 2, this team right here, 3 men and a ghost, they were actually not playing against anybody because Team 3 pre-bowled. And then on lanes 3 and 4, the same thing. Team Hit the Pocket weren't playing against anybody. This team right here, they pre-bowled as well. So, the only pair, 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, 5 and 6 where we were, 7 and 8, the pair next to us, these were the only ones where both teams showed up. So, so here was the scenario before week 12. So 3 men and a ghost were a point behind us. So obviously they're best chance would be to clean sweep and hope that we don't take all the points. And then for hit the pocket, the same thing in order to be able to just keep pace with with us and with the team in second place. But here's what ended up happening. So three men and a ghost, they blew it. They absolutely blew it, and they lost every single point to this team who pre-bowled, and as a result, they got knocked down to third place. And then this team hit the pocket. They went hard, but unfortunately, it still wasn't enough because the first game, you should have seen it. One guy got like 279, another got like 240. It was insane. They just went off on the main stage. But unfortunately, they could only take game one, and then they tied 722 in game three, so they took 2.5. And that, as a result, because three men and a ghost blew it, that moved them into second place with a half a point. Crazy. And then us, of course, I don't know how this happened. I could have sworn we lost game one, we won game two, but then we lost game three. But instead, here's what ended up happening. Somehow we won game one and two, so we took 3 points while the other team only took one. I don't know how that happened, but I can tell you this. We are not at fault for anything that with the scores. We didn't write them down. The opposing team were the ones writing down the scores. So if there was a screw up, we are not responsible for it. So, yeah, that's really where that is. And then, of course, as you can see here, as a result, after week 12, we are now like what, 4 points? Yeah, we're 4 points ahead, which is a huge lead. And because of that half a point that hit the pocket managed to get. That means that it's not a shutout yet. What they would have to do, since we're facing them, because remember, it's position round, first versus second, third versus fourth. We're on lanes 1 and 2 against team hit the pocket. What they would have to do to win the league is they would have to clean sweep us. They would have to take every single point. So literally all we have to do is just win one game and we win the league. So, obviously, we cannot underestimate this team because if any of you remember, Team Hit the Pocket is the same team that I think it was on week number 11. Let me take a look here. It was, let me see, week number 10. If any of you remember, it was 1 versus 3. I battled with that guy, Ryan Schnorf. He got like the front 10 and I got the front 8. That's the team we're facing. So we're facing Ryan's team yet again. So we definitely cannot underestimate them going into this. So obviously our job to try to win this thing is not that difficult compared to them, but still we want to give it our all. We don't want to. We definitely don't want to blow it. And this is going to be an interesting one because obviously you guys know how I hate lanes 1 and 2. So when I went into this one, I obviously was praying to God, crossing my fingers and all that stuff that they oil the lanes properly and that we wouldn't have to be dealing with that problem that we dealt with that one time at the beginning of the league where the lanes were already dry by the time like we started the first game. So yeah, that's really all there is to say on this. And then, of course, because week 14 technically doesn't even count, because as you can see there, it says fun night, no points. I guess now we can reveal the season high scores. So let me see if I can get that from the bottom there. So after all these 13 weeks of league, here are the season high scores. So for scratch game, Team 3 ended up taking the highest scratch whatever, 886, and then Team Hit the Pocket in second with 865. Three Men and a Ghost with 782, and then Scratch Series goes to Team 3 yet again with a 2506. Hit the Pocket got 2404, and Three Men and a Ghost got 2244. The handicap part, I really could care less about because for me, it's all about the scratch. I don't like handicap. It ruins everything. And then, of course, for the men in for the scratch game, I took the highest with 288. If you guys remember, I got my first 700 series on that night. So Ryan Schnorf almost beat it on that night that we battled in that third game on week number 10, I think it was. He almost had me, but unfortunately that 710 prevented it, and he walked away with the 287. And then also Gina Vasquez, she also had a chance as well. I can't remember what week of league it was. I don't know if it was week 11 or whatever, but I do remember I shouted her out on it, and she got like the front 9 or something, and unfortunately she messed up in the 10th frame and only could get 276. But she also walked away with the 693 scratch series, and I think she also had a 208 average. So congrats to her on that, being the only female in this league to have a 200 plus average. And then, of course, let's see. 279 goes to Pete Hill, who was also on the same team with Ryan Schnorf, so he's a part of that team as well. And so we're going to be facing him on this final competing night of league. And then for scratch series, I walked away with the highest series as well with the 753 that I got on that night that we battled with Ryan Schnorf. Crazy how it all happened in one. And then Pete Hill, same guy, he got 719. And then Pat McElroy on a different team, he got 688. And then handicap game went to Ryan Schnorf with the 323, and then I only got 311, while Pete Hill walked away with the 290. And then handicap series, I walked away with the highest one with an 804. Ryan Schnorf got 766, and then Ron Britton got 748. And that's pretty insane, actually, that Ryan got himself on this list as many times as he did, because he, in comparison to me, let's see. Ryan Schnorf has, as of right now, a 182 average, and I have, as of right now, a 206 before this week number 13 commenced. So credit to him being able to achieve such a thing with just a 182 average. That's pretty impressive. So anyway, that is what we got on that. So I guess now we can finally say enough talk and let's roll the clip. All right, so here we go. The championship match on lanes 1 and 2 versus Hit the Pocket. So that's Ryan right there starting on the right, while I will be starting on the left. And of course, like I said in the whole practice test session that I did on Monday, I'll be using the infinite physics. So let's see how Ryan begins this stuff. And he starts it off with a Brooklyn strike. And there I go with a more proper strike. All right, and we go 2 for 2. And if you'll notice, I'm using the 3G Gold Belmo shoes again. And I finally got that little issue fixed where they had too much slide. So I bought the rippled 3G heel, which gives you the most amount of break. I put it on the bottom of the shoe, and now the shoes are working out great, except for what happened there. I don't know what happened, but yeah. The problem before was that I added a Dexter H1 heel at the bottom of these 3G shoes, and it was a disaster. It still felt like I was on ice skates, you know? And I decided to buy that 3G heel. I put it on the bottom of it, and now it is fantastic. I did the smart thing this time, and I took them to a different center, tried them out, see how they felt, and it had the right amount of slide and break on them, so that rippled heel really made the difference, and that's why I decided, and if you saw that Monday practice session that I uploaded, I was using them there as well, and yeah, they felt great. The slide was good, the break was good, I didn't have any problems with them, so I told myself I'll take them to this night of league, and yeah, everything worked out great. So yeah, things were really falling into place here on this night. The shoes were great, the slide and the sole and the heel were really not giving me any problems with the shoes. However, I was a little bit rusty for this first game, but you know, later on in the first game and then throughout the night, things were working out great. You're going to be seeing that. I really practiced my form, and it really paid off. The infinite physics, amazing as usual. You're going to be seeing that, of course, like I'm on the front two right now. And then here comes this shot. Fell off on it. And then I left the 10 pin there because me falling off at the foul line there kind of contributed to that, and how I released the ball. I was a little nervous about this 10 pin because I didn't practice my spares too much in the 10 minutes of practice. But I just stuck to what I knew, and luckily it was enough. All right, here we go on frame number 5 now. Beauty. You see what I mean? I was a little rusty at first, but then I started to, I started to get back into the swing of things. Good release, good form. But unfortunately, we end up with the split. And I will say about this one is that it didn't look like it got to the right too early. It just looked like it was a little bit slower. Unfortunately, I couldn't pick it up, and now I end up in a situation where I really have to start, just stringing together strikes, or this could be a low game. Nice. Very nice. I tell you, this Infinite Physics, guys, it's going to be one of my favorites for sure. So for this night, I will say that I thought that me and Ryan were going to have another epic battle, but it ended up being the complete opposite, because this right here basically sums up Ryan's night right here. Looks good. Hits the pocket, 7-pin, and then that reaction, him looking up at the ceiling like, are you kidding me? So he got a lot of those unlucky, he got unlucky a lot of times, a lot of 7-pins, a lot of 10-pins. So yeah, I don't remember what series he got, but it was nothing like what happened on that one night that we did that one battle. Instead, I actually ended up battling with one of his other teammates, Pete Hill, who was that lefty who I'm going to show you right now. So this guy right here, this is Pete Hill. 208 average, lefty. He was the one that I ended up competing with on this night. A little bit of a loft, fell off on it, but kept on striking. Alright, so we've made it to the 10th frame. We managed to set ourselves up really nicely. We haven't missed since that open. Ah, beautifully done. I tell you, this Infinite Physics is so good. And I guess I forgot to mention where I was lined up with this ball. I was lined up on board 24, so this is a really strong ball. Not as strong as the Dark Code, but it's still pretty strong. And actually, because I am lined up on board 24 with this Infinite Physics, that means that this is now the second strongest ball that I have in my arsenal, the Dark Code being the first. And I would say that the Nuclear Cell is the third strongest ball in my arsenal. So, it's nice to finally have another ball that doesn't that goes beyond me lining up on 22.5, because that's the furthest that I go with some of the high performance stuff that I have. And beautifully done. Look at that. Very nice shot. Nice form at the foul line. I'm 2 for 2 in the 10th. And the Nuclear Cell, the Reality. Let me see what else. I know I have plenty of others. The Reality, the Rubicon, the Idol Helios, the Idol, the Phase 2, the Crux Prime, the Nuclear Cell, the UC2, the Omega Crux. None of those can have me on a fresh house shot. I can never go beyond 22.5, 23 at the most. So, it's with the Infinite Physics, I line up on 24. And then of course with the Dark Code, I'm on 27. So that is the indication right there that the Infinite Physics is the second strongest ball in my bag, and the Dark Code being the first. So it's really nice to finally have another ball that has me going beyond that barrier, being 22.5, 23 sort of. So this Infinite Physics is strong, guys. You want to know how strong? That's how strong. And keep in mind, I'm not a high rev rate kind of guy, and I'm not a high speed kind of guy. My speed is only 15, my average speed is only about 15.9, and my rev rate can only go up to about somewhere between the 380s and somewhere in the 380s and at max 400. So it's a strong ball. Okay guys, so here we go. Starting off game number 2 on, I don't know what lane. I think the right lane is supposed to be where I'm at. Yeah, the right lane. And we started off with the 243, a great way to kick things off this championship night, I guess. And especially with a new ball that I haven't used for a lot. That's unheard of. I mean, it's also unheard of for me to know if it's a good ball for me this quickly, because one thing that with me is that I need to put a fair amount, like maybe a dozen games on a ball to know if it works for me or not. And with this Infinite Physics, like I said in that practice session, it instantly it just took one game for me to instantly know this is a good ball for me. And In fact, it was so good that I wanted to take it to this night of league. And look at that, 243 to show for it to start things off. And then here we are on the right. And unfortunately, had a good form at the foul line, but I didn't put enough on it, and it didn't get back. And as a result, I now have a 2 and an 8 to deal with. But I stuck to what I know, and it was no problem at all. All right, so going after 8 spare on the right to begin. We now go to the left. Still lined up on board 24. Nice. Beautiful. God, you guys need to buy it in Infinite Physics. You will not regret it. You will not be disappointed. It is a really good ball. All right, on the right lane we go again. Tell you, the form is back. That's all I needed. It was just to go back and really practice and really look back on what my problems were with with my approach and correct them. And I tell you, it paid off. I'm back in it. And I never noticed this until just now. He has the washout, throws his purple polyurethane, bounces out the back and takes out the 10. What the heck is that about? All right, on the left after going 2 in a row, can we go for 3? The form is there. The Infinite Physics is all there. Everything is falling into place. I knew deep down all I needed was just to go back and practice. Practice my form. Keep my mental game sharp. And I never realized that I needed the Infinite Physics. But most importantly, the REX cover. It's become very clear that the REX cover is now working its way into being one of my favorite pro covers. All right, on the left, I think we're on 4 in a row now. I don't even know. I am telling you guys, the Infinite Physics is just too good. And I will admit, prior to this night of league, I walked in with a lot of doubt in myself, because I thought, is it a mistake to be bringing this Infinite Physics to league after not having spent enough time with it in practice? Was it really a good idea to bring these Gold Belmo 3G shoes? Because even though I had put a good amount of games on them after adding that new 3G rippled heel on it, I don't know, but I'm glad that everything fell into place and everything was working out great. Lesson learned, folks. This is why you experiment. Test things out first. Practice with them before you actually go to the day of competition. Light hit. Strike streak ends there at 5 in a row in the 7th, I believe. I did practice my 7s quite a bit in an off-camera practice session during the week, so wasn't too worried. Kind of a little sketchy there, but you know what? I got it. I had just enough lane to get that 7. All right, after a 9 spare, can we recover? Of course we can, but that was a close call, and you saw me. I was like, not today. No way. I felt like I delayed my swing on that one just a bit there. And that one went high, and it's become clear that for this second game, the right lane is becoming my trouble lane. And the crazy thing is that I have not moved at all. I've stood on board 24 throughout the night, and again, that is kind of unheard of, because at some point, like in every single night of league, I at some point have had to move, at least just a little bit, and with this one, I have not. But I know for a fact, I knew that I did not need to move on this right lane, and that those shots were kind of just like either bad shots or I was just unlucky. Yeah, I knew deep down that the lanes weren't changing enough for me to have to make moves. So I stood on 24 and I stayed there. See? Didn't need to make moves. Stick to the game plan. This is why you must practice the ability to watch your ball so you know what it's doing. Look at that. Confidence. I knew. When you hold it at the foul line, you know you made a good shot. It was good off your hand. And that's exactly what I did right there. You know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. To the right too early. Went into the nose, and as a result, I leave the 610, but it don't matter because I have another 240 game, 247. I'm 2 for 2 with this infinite physics. How great is this ball? Okay, you guys, so final game of the night and of the competing portion of League. And I did the math. I did the math before Game 3 started, and I found that all I needed was a 210 for another 700 series. And knowing what I've been through, knowing what I've done before to achieve 700 series the past couple of times, I thought, bro, I can so totally do that. That should be easy. So I went into this one like not even feeling nervous at all. I felt great. Again, everything was going my way. The shoes were great. The form was great. The ball was great. And I was even getting lucky too. All right, here we go on the right lane after that lucky strike. A little bit of loft there, fell off on it, but I got it, and now I'm 2 for 2. But then I had to go and do this to myself. So I threw my shot, went high. Luckily, I fought off a split, and I had what looks like a very easy spare, right? Yeah, I was getting a little too comfortable, and as a result, now I have an open frame. And just when I thought I couldn't make things worse on myself, I did. So that one didn't even get back, and as a result, that I think is the 2, the 4, and the 8. Like I said, I made things worse on myself by doing this. Another open frame. We now have back-to-back opens on the 3rd and 4th, and now I have put myself in a position where I have to string strikes together to put in a good game and to be able to get that 700 series. So here I go into the 5th frame, and I still haven't made any moves. I'm still using the same ball, still standing on 24. Because I knew those were bad shots that I made. It wasn't the lanes, it wasn't the ball, it was me. See what I mean? So back on the strike train, sort of. Well, I can't say back on the strike train if I've only got 1 strike, right? It needs to be like 2 or 3. Now I think I can say I'm back on the strike train. Okay, on the left lane now. I think we're on the 7th frame now. I can't even tell. Oh, light hit, and I knew it too. That was lucky, but we're still good. So we're still good. We can still salvage this. We can still save ourselves. Put in a good game here. Very nice. Yes, back in it. All right, so I think we are on the 9th frame now. I don't even know. That one looked left of target, and I was, to me, from what I can see right there, that looked left of target, it looked like it held, so I want to say that that's a lucky shot, at least to me. So here I go. Weird form, looks good, went high, I got 9, and that 9 means I get 213, which means we got a 700 series, again, and we did it for the 2nd time on lanes 1 and 2. This stuff is getting kind of easy. No, I'm just kidding. This stuff ain't easy. If it was, I'd have probably a couple 300s, maybe a couple high 700s, who knows. But I spared it, and that indeed confirmed that I got my 700 series. And not only that, now I can officially reveal to you guys that we won the league. That's right. Yep, give it up. That's right, we did it. Thank you very much. Thank you, I appreciate it. Please, 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 you're too kind, you're too kind. That's enough. Okay, that's enough. All right. So yeah, we had actually already won this whole thing by game 1. We took game 1 and then we took game 2, but we lost game 3. Like I told you guys, all we needed to do was not let these guys clean sweep and we would win. All we needed was to win 1 game and it was over. And there we go, ending my final game. Well, not necessarily my final game, but you know what I mean. My final competing game of this league with a strike, and we end with the 225, which means we have a 715 series. Unbelievable. That is how you end it right there. And of course I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to film the sweepers that we got next week, even though it's just a fun bonus round, but got to film it all. So I did put up a poll where you guys, I let you guys vote on whether I should continue doing these league videos or not. And of course, you guys, like 90% of the vote was yes. So we will continue league going into the fall, I think is what it is. And all right, guys, so here we are after week number 13. Can't believe we actually won this league. I mean, it's not really anything to brag about, though, because it was a small little summer league with 8 teams. But, and then, of course, there was handicap that kind of ruins it. I mean, if this was scratch, I guarantee you we probably would have been in last place. But because of handicap, we ended up winning this thing. But anyway, yeah, game 1, we got a 243, game 2 with the 247, and game 3 with the 225. All with that new infinite physics. I tell you guys, that ball is fantastic. You guys need to get one. Trust me. It is so good. It is worth the money. And the other crazy thing was that I did not move that entire night. I lined up on board 24 and I stayed there. That is insane. So yeah, that in total gave me another 700 series. I got 715. And compared to last week's series total where I got 623, and the series required to raise my average would have been 622, but obviously I eclipsed that. And as a result, my pin total after week 13 is 8,166 after 39 games played. That pushes my average from last week from 206 all the way up to a 209. And one of my objectives for this league was to try to get highest average, and I don't know if I did that because Pete Hill, that lefty, I don't know if you guys saw him or if I even talked about him. He bowled a 703 series on that exact same night. So yeah, we really were battling it out on this night, but I came out on top with the 715, of course. But because I think he had a 208 average, so it's possible because of that 703 that he got, he might have the highest average in the league. So mission failed there, but still, it don't matter. I still feel like I accomplished a lot. And then, of course, my highest game and highest series remain the same. From week 7, I got that 288, and the highest series being 753 that I got from week 10. Okay, so the next thing that I want to look at is my average through those 13 weeks. So as you can see, I started off pretty slow, pretty badly actually. Started off with 185, and then into week 2 it got worse, and then week 3 I managed to bring it up to a 187, and in week 4 I kind of blew it and lowered my average back down to 182, but I recovered it and went to 188, and it was there that the climb began as I increased to 194, and by week 7 I got back into the 200 club. And then in week 8, 9, and 10, it kind of got juggled around a little bit, and then week 11 and 12 is where it stayed at 206. And then by week 13 is basically where I went all out and managed to bring it back to a 209. And then for week 14, obviously we're leaving that blank because that's sweepers. It doesn't necessarily count. It's all fun. And also, of course, my series through the weeks, the improvement clearly shows there too. Started off with a couple 500s and 600s. And then by week 6, I guess, is where actually week 5 is where I started getting back into the swing of things, and the improvement started from there. I got a 640, and then next week the 671, and then my first ever 700 being that 707 in week 7. And by week 8, I followed it up with another 700 series. And then week 9 was where I suffered that unfortunate back pain and shoulder pain. And all I could do was get a 540. But luckily, I was able to recover the next week. And I healed up and managed to get back into the 700 series again. And that was when my man Fern came to watch too. So also a pretty memorable week for me. And then in week 11, I went back down to a 624 and a 623. But luckily, I went all out for this final week. We got 715, and we won the league. So that's really all I've got left to say. That was my performance throughout those 13 weeks, and that was my average as well. I hope you guys enjoyed that entire run, but obviously we're not done yet. We still have sweepers next week, so I hope that I can get some extra cash from that. But I don't know. I honestly don't even know what we won. They didn't tell us yet. Obviously, I think they're probably going to announce that on week number 14, what we won. Because I don't think I've ever actually, the last time I won a league, I don't remember what we won, but that was like 3 years ago. But I don't remember what happened then because I wasn't there for it during the final week. But here we are now, so we're gonna be finding out next week what we won. So anyway, that's it. That's it for week number 13. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm Frank the Tank, and I will see you for sweepers on week number 14.